Hi guys, Gabe here from ESCUnited, back again with Iolanda.
Hi,
from
everyone.
Portugal.
I'm loving your accent.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, I describe it as generic British man.
I love it.
Totally nondescript, but there we go. We are currently recovering from a minor incident with a curling iron, I believe, before.
Yeah, I burned my hand, but it's fine now. I have a team. They came straight away with solutions, so don't worry, guys. I'll be good on the 7th of May for you to make me go to the finals.
Yes, and that is where, that's where we will talk plenty about that. That's where I predict you'll end up.
Really?
I'm going to be very annoyed at Europe if it doesn't happen. We will get to that, but I want to sort of roll it back for our audience to kind of, firstly, just to reflect on the experience here, and then sort of go even further back as your musical background.
Yeah.
So firstly, very simply, how has Malmo been so far? Our rehearsals, how's the experience?
Malmo's been crazy good because it's nice weather. I thought it would be raining or like grey, but it's an amazing weather. My team is super happy. We are very comfortable. We've been sleeping, partying a little bit here and there in the front of the hotel without nobody knowing. And we've been just building our moments here with a lot of love and a lot of passion. So we're super excited for what's to come.
And I think it's certainly, we've seen lots to be optimistic about in the rehearsal footage as well.
Yeah.
I know that I'm sure there's potentially things that are hiding, things that were still to come. With that in mind, I want to start by talking about the staging from back at Festival de Canção. Now, with Grito, one thing I really noticed was the way it kind of feels episodic almost. At the start with the tight angle, you're there, it's just you. Your dancers kind of form part of the scene around you. And then it pans out into this sort of expansive
bigger,
middle section, and you're using the dancers around you to kind of control the space. And then the grito, the scream, it happens, and we're back in again.
It goes back again to the tight thing,
How was when you were designing that concept, did it come quite naturally? How did you build it with your team?
It was a mixture between my ideas and the ideas of my creative director, and we've been working together to kind of build a story behind the song instead of only having a song and some dancers. I wanted to have a story, I wanted to have a meaning behind it, and because I'm talking about my inner demons, I wanted to start in me focusing the angle just in my eyes, so basically me as the conductor of the story, focusing on that, and then opening it to a more wider, to kind of call the viewer to come closer to the story. So it's kind of okay, now we're going to tell you more, just check this out. You know what I mean? So kind of and then we go back again to me as in, it ends, you're back in the it's kind of she's the person, which is me, but that person is a conductor of the story, and she's telling you, okay, now we're gonna go here, and you come with me, and then we'll bring you again to Earth. I don't know. It just I think it makes sense.
It's sort of like an arc with a resolution.
Yeah, definitely,
almost.
definitely. Yeah.
And I mean, when it comes to that big moment specifically, we've commented before that of how natural it feels in the song, but also the way in which, and we were speaking to the head of press before we came on for the Portuguese delegation, our best friend Maria, absolutely wonderful woman. See, now we're definitely gonna get another interview next time. But and it's really striking how you make it feel effortless and it feels so natural within the song. Is it as effortless as it looks?
I don't know. I think for me, the song is obviously, I've been singing it for quite a few times, so now it's more comfortable. In the beginning, because I wrote it, so I knew exactly where I wanted to put the notes. You know what I mean? So the melodies came very easily. We actually started writing a year and a half before national selection, and then we chose this one for the national selection as I didn't have any other that spoke so strongly to me, so basically I think it's effortless sometimes, but if I'm tired, obviously it gets more time to get the notes right and the breaths, because I write a lot of words, so it's not exactly a song that has a lot of space in between the words that I'm writing. But it only made sense like this. So yeah.
And so there's something I heard in that. We've been writing for a year and a half. Obviously, that would roughly take us back to, obviously, Cura was released in 2023.
Yeah. Oh,
your
you know
EP.
Cura.
does that if we'll be so there's been writing since then?
Yeah.
Are we leading towards another EP? Are we leading
Definitely,
to an
we are
album?
working. We are working in new music. I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but I can tell you it's in the next upcoming months. We're gonna hear some new music.
Very, very exciting. And so we've that's looking forward a little bit. I'd also like to look back just for our viewers who are encountering you for the first time. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about your musical background, sort of key moments in your life that have led you to this position. So starting from what made you want to be a musician in the first place?
I think I've come from a family that does music. So my mom had a garage band, and my dad used to sing in this kind of more traditional groups. And then we all together as a family were playing at this traditional group of Portuguese music with cavaquinho, which is kind of it's similar to ukulele but with different tuning. So we all were playing that since I was like 4 years old, and I was like studying music as a really young age. So for me, it always has been something that I did. But as a professional, I remember going to this contest at my school when I was 11, and I sang "My Immortal" by Evanescence. Was one of my, I think it was the first song I sang live as a, as a performer, because I was performing even though I was 11 years old.
It's a banger, by the way. That's an amazing song.
I know, right? It's crazy. And for me, it was a matter of like, I was just having fun. But then I won that contest, and we had me and another team. The second place went to go down the river, one of the Portuguese rivers, in a kayak. So it was amazing. So for me, it was a hobby. But then when I started going to TV shows, and when I started writing poems and thinking, I can play this in a guitar. Let me get a guitar. Let me learn the guitar, and then piano. But I've never had any other instrument apart from the voice, that I wanted to study a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like for me, it only came true to me when I started studying my vocals. So yeah.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you mentioned music as a hobby for musicians. I've experienced this myself.
Are you a musician?
I very nearly I had offers to study music at university. I was playing drums and piano a lot at that time. I do still play, not quite as good as I was then, but there is this weird relationship where it always starts as a hobby, and there's that point where it's your hobby and your profession.
Definitely.
It's
and
a
for
really
me,
interesting
for me,
relationship.
that thing about I remember my parents being a little bit afraid of the future, because obviously art is that kind of dangerous place where you can be obviously tight, or you can be very rich, there's a mid between that, obviously.
And it's tough out there. It's a tough time to be an artist.
It's very tough, and I think people don't value as much art as they could, and there's a lot of people wanting to do art, so there's not enough places for everyone. So it's kind of it's a mess industry, but it's also a beautiful one, because I think art is what makes us human. That's what makes us connect, with each other. So I'm super happy to be able to do this for my life. I'm doing this full time, so I'm super grateful. And I think I don't believe anymore in the plan B, let me just take because I did study communication sciences, and I was looking for the plan B, and then at the same time I was thinking, why am I taking a plan B that I don't like? I will never use this. I've never used it. So kids, if you want to study music, study, but study hard and do what you want hard.
That's the challenge. I think the thing is, ultimately, when you really love it, right? When you really, really love it, and you can devote yourself to it in that way. I guess then, because we're talking about the fact it's a gamble.
Yeah. And it's about work. It's not about talent. For me, obviously you need to have talent, but it's 10% talent, 90% work. Period. I've learned it the hard way in terms of creating expectations sometimes. So it's kind of I don't create expectations anymore. I work towards what I want to do.
And of course, that's part of the difficulty, the mentality as well. And I think this is something that a lot of professionals, not just musical artists, but also creators of all different kinds, who are operating in a sort of professional, semi-professional way, where there's the element of kind of
Some days it's not going to go the way you want. Some days,
definitely,
and it's about learning to deal
and
with that and not let it demotivate.
And you're gonna get no's. Like I got so many no's, and for me it was what gave me the confidence and the strength to prevail in this industry, at least where I am now, because this is very volatile. Like you don't know when you're gonna wake up and you're gonna lose your voice, or hopefully. Let me clap here so it doesn't happen. But you know, like anything can happen. So I guess just do what makes you feel happy. And for me, bringing Grito to this stage is also another message for that, which is do whatever you want, respect others, but do what you want and feel it inside you. You know.
And lastly, turning to that, I think we're seeing there's a quite familiar story in recent years with Portugal and Eurovision, because I think Portugal has sort of since the national selection was refreshed in 2017. There's been very much this kind of Portugal, we forge our own way. You know, I think one thing that people really admire about your song and your predecessors was how identifiably Portuguese it was, and how it really, you know, it runs through the music.
Thank you.
What that means is people love underestimating Portugal in Eurovision, and the narratives develop. I think we've seen the narrative shift a bit in response to your rehearsal footage this week. I guess, and in fact, your rehearsal, I should say, won our site poll for the favourite rehearsal from semi-final one. So our audience was very, very impressed
Thank
indeed.
you so much.
I was wondering, for you as an artist, do you see all these things happening, all the narratives, the odds, everything else? Are you able to fully shut off from it?
I'm not able to fully shut off because I think I don't want to. I really like to. I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a water sign.
So am I.
But at the same, you are a Scorpio.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm like I like to keep my feet on earth. So I want to know what's happening. I want to know what's going on, what people are thinking. I know that Portugal is underestimated, and I'm okay with it, because I know that from 30 years from now, I'm gonna look at my performance and I'm still gonna cry and feel shivers, you know. And for me, it like that's what makes me. That's what moves me as an artist and as a human being. And I hope everyone is doing that for them, because it's just so powerful to step on that stage. So yeah, I'm super cool with all the odds. I really don't care. Like I'm just doing my thing. I know I have a lot of friends and a lot of people that love the song, and I'm super happy, and I'll go forward with it. So yeah, I'm super cool.
And I think, you know, we definitely count ourselves among that. As I said, I think just to wrap things up, we've been wrapping up our interviews by asking for, it can be one experience or a couple of just something really positive. It can be a small thing, a big thing, something really positive, something, or a cherished memory or a nice moment that you're going to take from this experience, that you're going to think back to, like the one you just said about looking back on your performance in 30 years, that you're going to, in the future, look back and say, I remember that specific moment, which was just a really amazing point for me.
I think it's gonna be when I see like the performance live, and watching my backing dancers coming from different parts of Portugal, actually from the north, from the no, we don't have anyone from the south, but we have our little Frenchy girl Melissa, and it's crazy it's gonna be crazy to watch back and see what we did, and we came from nothing, and now we're here, literally like bawling like a rapper. Sometimes I give a lot of rap vibes with my sentences, but just like looking back to and see the work we did, and like how can you build something with not as much, but it still can be beautiful, and it still can be powerful, and yeah, and just like look at myself singing in front of I don't know how many people. But if you like my song, yeah, there are a couple. I've been told. But yeah, if you like the song, just listen to it, stream it, and tell me what you think.
And vote for it. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
Iolanda, it's a real pleasure for you to have joined us. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to ESCUnited. Make sure to vote for Iolanda. See her through from the second semi-final to the final of Eurovision.
Bye,
first
everyone.
semi-final.
Yeah,
You're
first
in the
semi-final.
first semi-final.
Yeah, I'm in the first semi-final.
It's been a long day.
Bye.
Bye.